Somebody has probably told you that August is a dead month for sowing seeds. That it is too late, the season is over, put the packets away until spring. They are wrong, and it is one of the most expensive pieces of bad advice in gardening, because August is not the end of a sowing year. It is the secret beginning of the next one. But I have to be honest with you about what sow right now means, because the dishonest version of this video is everywhere and it sets people up to fail. Most of the 14 flowers I am about to give you are not going to bloom in a few weeks. That is not what August sowing is for. What August sowing does is give you a head start so powerful that these plants come up earlier, grow bigger, and flower weeks ahead of anything you sow next spring. Here is the proof. And it is remarkable. Take one of these, Ami Majus, the lacy white one. Sown now, it spends the cool months building a deep root system, and next year it can tower over 2 meters tall. Sow that exact same seed in spring, and you get a short, ordinary little plant. Same seed. The only difference is that one of them was sown in August, and one was not. That is the deal these 14 flowers are offering you. Not instant color. A completely different class of plant next year, from seed you put in the ground now, mostly for the price of a packet. And there is one genuine exception on the list, a flower that really will bloom for you this autumn in a matter of weeks, if you are somewhere warm. So you get both. Now, one quick thing, because this channel has viewers on both sides of the planet. If you are in the north, August is late summer, and this is about hardy plants that overwinter. If you are in the south, August is late winter, and it is your cool season sowing window. Different season, same underlying idea. You are sowing into cool conditions for a strong flush ahead, not for an instant show. It works beautifully both ways. So here are 14 flowers to sow right now, sorted honestly into what they will actually do for you. And I will tell you at the end, the one thing you must not sow in August, no matter where you live. But first, why does sowing into the cool season beat spring so badly? Because the reason is the whole point. Here is why sowing into the cool season beats spring so badly, and once you understand it, the whole strategy makes sense. Think about what a seed needs to become a big, strong, flower-covered plant. It needs a large, deep, well-established root system, because roots are the engine. A plant with a huge root system can support a huge amount of top growth and a huge number of flowers. A plant with a small root system stays small and flowers modestly. Roots are everything. Now, a spring-sown plant has a problem. It germinates in spring and then almost immediately has to do everything at once, build roots, grow leaves, and flower, all crammed into one frantic season, all at the same time. It never gets a chance to build a proper foundation before it is asked to perform. So it stays relatively small, and it flowers late because it spent the early season just getting started. A cool season sown plant does it in the right order. It germinates now, while there is still some warmth, and then, through the cool months, it does one thing and one thing only. It builds roots. It is not trying to flower. It is not racing. It is quietly sending down a deep, powerful root system all through autumn and winter, sometimes staying quite small on top the whole time. And then, when spring arrives, it already has the engine built. So it explodes. It surges into growth and flower weeks ahead of anything spring-sown, from a foundation that spring-sown plants never had time to build. That is the entire secret. Earlier flowers, bigger plants, more of them, because the roots were built in advance. During the season, everyone else writes off as dead. And it costs you a packet of seed and 10 minutes now. So do me a favor. Drop a comment telling me which hemisphere you are gardening in, north or south, so I can see who is sowing for spring and who is sowing for their summer. Now, the first group. The hardy annuals, the backbone of the whole thing. Group 1. The hardy annuals. These are the backbone of August sowing, tough plants that shrug off cold, overwinter as small seedlings, and reward you with the earliest, strongest flowers of next year. In the South, they are simply your cool season annuals sown for spring. Number 1. Cornflower. The classic, and one of the toughest things you can sow. Cornflowers are as hardy as they come, and an autumn or cool season sowing gives you strong plants and early flowers, usually starting in May or early June, and putting on a real show before most gardens have got going. Sow them direct where you want them to flower, cover lightly, and thin the seedlings. They handle frost without complaint. If you sow only one thing off this list, make it this one, because it is nearly foolproof. Number 2. Larkspur. The delphinium-like spires of blue, pink, and white, and a plant that genuinely prefers being sown now. Larkspur seed actually germinates better in cool conditions, and many growers who used to sow it in late winter have switched to autumn sowing for taller, stronger, earlier flowering plants. Sow it direct because it has a taproot and resents being moved. A cool spell after sowing helps it along rather than hurting it. Number 3. Calendula. The pot marigold, and one of the most generous plants on this entire list. Calendula is a hardy annual that overwinters easily, and it has a remarkable trick. If your winters are mild, it will actually flower right through them and then burst into a much bigger display in spring. Sow it direct under about half an inch of soil, and it germinates within a week or two while the soil is still warm. Easy, cheerful, and it will self-seed and come back for years. Number 4. Amimajus. The lacy white one I mentioned at the start, sometimes called bishop's flower, and the poster child for why August sowing works. Sown now, it builds that deep taproot over the cool months and comes up next year taller and stronger than any spring sowing, sometimes topping 2 meters against a much shorter plant from spring seed. Because of that taproot, sow it direct or into deep pots, never shallow modules, so you do not disturb the root. Airy, elegant, and a florist's favorite for filling arrangements. Number 5. Nigella. Love in a mist, the jewel blue flower surrounded by a haze of fine ferny foliage. Nigella is tough as nails, fast, and sows itself around happily once you have it. It is another that resents transplanting, so scatter it direct where you want it and barely cover it. And you get 2 harvests from it, because after the flowers come, those beautiful inflated seed pods that dry perfectly for arrangements. Sow it now for early flowers next year, and it will reseed and return on its own. Number 6. Orlaya. White lace flower, and a slightly more special one that rewards knowing about it. Orlaya grandiflora produces gorgeous flat heads of brilliant white lacy flowers, and it is a genuine hardy annual that does markedly better from a cool season sowing than from spring. It is a favorite of cut flower growers precisely because autumn sowing gives such strong early plants. Sow it direct, keep it moist until it germinates, and let it establish through the cool months. Slightly less common, which is exactly why yours will stand out. Quick one, right in the middle, because there is a single idea underneath every flower in this video, and it is worth saying out loud. Timing is everything. The exact same seed, put in the ground at the right moment, gives you a 2-meter plant, and put in at the wrong moment gives you a stunted one. Nothing changed, except when. In gardening, when you do a thing very often, matters more than how well you do it. And there is one plant where that is truer than anywhere else, and where getting the timing wrong is the most common heartbreak in gardening. The hydrangea. Because a hydrangea is not one plant, it is 6 different types, and each one is pruned at a different time, and if you cut at the wrong moment, you remove an entire year of flowers with your own hands. Same shears, same cut. The only thing that decides whether it was right or catastrophic is when you did it, and which type you were holding. So I put the whole thing in one place. It is called the Hydrangea Mastery Guide. It sorts all 6 types in about 90 seconds, because every hydrangea decision starts there. It has the prune by type calendar, so you know exactly when to cut each one and never lose a season to bad timing. It explains the real reason the color changes, which is not the pH, whatever you were told. And it walks through the 5 myths that waste an entire year. 29 pages, $27, instant PDF, 7-day money-back guarantee, and the link is in the description at waltgreer.com. And it ends the way this channel always ends, with the part nobody selling you something will print. 4 of the 6 types cannot change color at all, no matter what you pour on them. Fertilizer will never fix a hydrangea that will not bloom, because a guide that only tells you what to do is only half a guide. Now, back to the seeds. Numbers 7, 8, and 9, and there is a fragrant legend in this group. Number 7. California Poppy. The silky, luminous orange one, Eschscholzia, and a plant that positively demands to be sown direct now. It has a deep taproot and hates being moved, so it is a direct sow flower only, scattered where it is to grow. Sown into cool soil, it germinates and establishes for a strong early flush, and in mild areas, it will happily overwinter from a late-season sowing. It is drought-tolerant, it self-seeds freely, and once you have it, you tend to have it forever, which with a flower this beautiful is a gift. Number 8. Ceranthe. Honeywort, the one with the blue-green waxy leaves and the nodding, deep purple, almost iridescent flower clusters that bees adore. Ceranthe is a hardy annual that responds beautifully to cool season sowing, coming up early and strong for flowers well ahead of a spring sowing. It looks unlike anything else in the garden, that smoky sea-green foliage shading into violet, and it self-seeds obligingly. Sow it now, direct or in deep pots, and let it establish. A connoisseur's plant that is genuinely easy to grow. Number 9. Sweet peas. The fragrant legend, and for many growers, the single best reason to sow in the cool season at all. Sweet peas sown now build strong root systems over the cool months and reward you with earlier flowers, longer stems, and that incomparable scent, well before spring-sown plants get going. Sow into deep pots or root trainers because they want root depth. Pinch out the tips when they have a few pairs of leaves to force bushy growth, and give them something to climb. In the South, this is your classic late winter sweet pea sowing for spring. Drainage matters more than warmth to them, so keep them somewhere cool and bright, not wet. Group 2. The biennials, and this is your last call on most of them. Biennials do something specific. Sown now, they grow into leafy plants this season, sit through winter, and then flower next year, giving you blooms a full season ahead of sowing them in spring. Miss this window, and you wait an extra year. Number 10. Foxglove. The stately woodland spires and one of the great cottage garden plants. Foxgloves are classic biennials, so seed sown now makes a leafy rosette this year and sends up those towering bells next year. Sow them on the surface and do not cover them, because foxglove seed is tiny and needs light to germinate. Just press it onto moist soil and keep it damp. One honest note worth knowing. There are modern varieties, the Dalmatian and Foxy series, bred to flower in their first year, so if you want faster results, look for those. But the traditional ones sown now are next year's showstoppers. Number 11. Honesty. Lunaria, and a plant you grow for 2 completely different gifts. First, the froth of purple or white spring flowers next year, and then the real prize, those translucent, papery, silver seed pods, like little moons, that dry for arrangements and last all winter indoors. Honesty is a true biennial, so sow it now for next year's flowers and the silver discs that follow. Sow it direct, barely covered, and then let it self-seed, because once you have honesty, you will always have it, turning up in corners as a welcome surprise. Number 12. Sweet William. Dianthus barbatus, the sweetly clove-scented cottage flower with dense, rounded heads in reds, pinks, and whites, often beautifully bicolored. Sweet William is a classic biennial, and now is genuinely your last good window to sow it for flowers next year. Sow it into a seedbed or modules, barely covered. Let it make a sturdy, leafy plant this season, and it will overwinter and bloom in early summer next year. The fragrance is the reason to grow it, and it is superb for cutting, lasting a long time in the vase. Number 13. Wallflower, the old-fashioned erysimum, and one of the most gorgeously scented plants of the whole spring garden, in warm velvet shades of orange, red, russet, and gold. Wallflowers are the traditional biennial partner to spring bulbs, and they are sown now to flower next spring. Sow them into a seedbed, thin or transplant the young plants, and grow them on to set out where you want that early color and clove-sweet fragrance. In the South, this is your cool season sowing for a spring display. Plant them where you will walk past them, because the scent on a warm spring day is the entire point. Group 3. The exception. Because I promised you one flower that genuinely will bloom this year, in a matter of weeks, not next spring. Here it is. Number 14. Sweet Alyssum. The low spreading carpet of tiny white, purple, or pink flowers with a soft honey scent that bees cannot resist. And this is the one on the list that plays by different rules, in the best way. If you are somewhere warm, Sweet Alyssum germinates and grows so fast that you can go from sowing now to the first flowers in about 6 to 8 weeks. So a late summer sowing gives you a genuine autumn display this year, color arriving just as your summer flowers start to fade. Sow it by pressing the seed lightly onto the surface and not covering it, because like several plants on this list, it needs light to germinate. Keep the soil consistently moist while it gets going. And in colder areas, do not worry, because a late sowing simply overwinters and gives you very early flowers next spring instead, so it works for everyone, just on a different timetable. One lovely bonus. Sweet Alyssum self-seeds enthusiastically, so plant it once and it tends to reappear on its own for years. Now, the one thing you must not sow in August, no matter where you live. Because getting this wrong wastes your seed and your time. Do not sow tender, heat-loving annuals now. The big ones to name are zinnias, marigolds, cosmos, sunflowers, and anything else that needs warm soil and a long, hot run to perform. These plants are the opposite of everything on this list. They have no frost hardiness at all, and they need continuously warm conditions to grow, and August, in either hemisphere, is heading the wrong way for that. Think about why. If you are in the north, the soil is about to cool and the frosts are coming, and a tender seedling that germinates now will either be killed outright by the first cold snap or sit there in cooling soil doing nothing. If you are in the south, the soil is still cold from winter, and those seeds will simply rot in the ground or refuse to germinate at all, because there is not enough warmth to trigger them. Either way, you have wasted the seed. Tender annuals want to be sown into warm soil with a whole hot summer ahead of them, which means late spring, once the frosts have finished and the ground has warmed. That is their moment. This is not it. So the honest rule for August is simple. Sow the hardy things and the biennials now for their head start. Save the tender, thirsty, sun-worshipping annuals for spring, and they will thank you for the wait. Before we finish, send this to one person you know who packed their seeds away last month thinking the year was over. Just the link. There is a whole extra sowing season sitting in front of them, and nobody told them. Now here is the whole thing in one idea. August is not the end of the sowing year. It is the head start almost nobody takes. The plants you sow now do not race to bloom in a few weeks. They spend the cool season building deep roots while everyone else's garden sleeps, and then they come up earlier, taller, and covered in far more flowers than anything you sow next spring. Same seed, sown at the right moment, becomes a completely different plant. So sow the hardy annuals for the backbone of it. Cornflower and larkspur and calendula, the easy, tough, reliable ones. Ami and orlia for that lacy elegance and the sheer size autumn sowing gives them. Nigella and cerinthe and California poppy, all of which sow themselves around and come back for free. And sweet peas in deep pots for the earliest stems and the best scent of next year. Get your biennials in now, because this is your last real window for a year. Foxglove, honesty, sweet William, and wallflower, all sown now to leaf up this season and flower next. And sow sweet alyssum for the one instant reward on the list. A genuine display within weeks if you are warm, and early flowers next spring if you are not. Just do not sow the tender sunlovers now. Zinnias, marigolds, cosmos, and sunflowers all want warm soil and a hot summer ahead, so save those for spring and let them wait. Do all that, and next year, while everyone else is only just poking seeds into spring soil, you will already have big, established, early flowering plants surging into bloom. That is the whole secret. The best spring garden is not sown in spring. It is sown now, in the month everyone gives up on. So subscribe and hit the bell, and stick around. We do this the honest way here in the Forgotten Knowledge Library. Real horticulture, exact timing, and we tell you straight, including which flowers will actually bloom now and which are a head start for next year, instead of pretending they are all the same. It is free, and it always will be. And drop a comment telling me which of these 14 you are going to sow and which hemisphere you are sowing it in, and I will help where I can. Next time, another job the calendar says is finished, that the smart gardener is only just beginning. I will see you in the next one.